China Clean Energy Cooperation has lots of parts, and eco-partnership is just one. And some of those, they've been going on for a number of years and some weren't always that effectual, but some of the newer ones that came online last year look like, you know, it's been given higher prominence. And I think there's the port cooperation, I think, that seems particularly interesting to me. But I think more important in the bilateral clean energy cooperation is the clean energy research centers that they've been going on for 5 years. It's both governments with think tanks and NGOs are working on together developing clean energy technologies, like for green buildings, electric vehicles, carbon capture and sequestration. They just added a new water energy one. And that's kind of an interesting kind of model, that it's not just gov to gov. But there's also a new initiative on smart cities that the two governments are going to come together and you know, bringing more subnational cooperation on low carbon issues. And I think some investment in concentrated solar, first of its kind in the world. It's going to be in China. And so it's kind of interesting to me, like watching U.S.-China clean energy cooperation, seeing a little bit of money being put out there for actual on-the-ground projects. And that's kind of nice and refreshing.
Well, we saw a major agreement last year on capping emissions. What more can we expect between these two countries before that major conference in Paris in December?
Well, I mean, I think we're going to keep hearing from the China side in particular kind of the good news of how coal emissions continue to drop. I mean, for about 30, 40 years, China's coal production has grown by 10% every year. And last year we saw a drop of about 4%. And I guess drops are even faster this year. I was just in Beijing, had a glimpse of a blue sky. It was a kind of new experience after many years.
What do you see as a major source of disagreement or point of contention related to these issues between China and the United States moving forward?
Well, I think that when people are looking at both the U.S. and Chinese commitments on climate change, a lot of experts, and myself included, sometimes seems a little more optimistic about what the Chinese are doing. I mean, they're under a lot of pressure. Some concern that, you know, in the U.S., whether or not the administration can make the kind of cuts in CO2 emissions that they want. But that said, I don't think it's as much that the Chinese are really looking to, you know, they're hoping, I'm sure, that the U.S. meet their commitments, but Chinese just in a couple of weeks are going to sign another climate agreement with the European Union. And you know, so there's some really this kind of momentum happening in Beijing that they're really kind of embracing and enthusiastic, the Chinese are, about Paris. And one reason why they're excited about Paris is that the Paris Agreement is going to be different from the Kyoto. It's basically, instead of having like international supervision of your climate emissions, it's going to just be more laissez-faire that the national government can oversee and have their own laws. And I think the Chinese are a lot more comfortable with that.